Hey, it's Jordan. Welcome back to the game. Go ahead. I think my fixation on the otter is not serving me well. I'll be an awkward lawnmower. When my Ryobi starts to lose power after 8 minutes of mowing my lawn. You have a Ryobi lawnmower? Yeah? You got a problem? You have a lawn? I know, it's pretty sick. Those batteries suck ass and they're like $200. Well, luckily, I got a second battery pack when I bought my Ryobi leaf blower and string trimmer combo. So, and that was only like $700. And they last long enough that I can, when one goes out of battery, I can hot swap to the other battery pack. Okay, it's just a strong team. And I could pretty much, I'm not saying I could go infinite, but I could keep it running for a little while. Not to brag. You have no choice but to run camel. It's just, this is the way this week, apparently. Also seems useful. What time of the year do you stop mowing? I gotta be honest, I gotta ask you. I don't know the lawn mowing process. Because here's, basically we moved in and I was like, oh, we're gonna have to do like a lot of yard work. And then it didn't rain for 2 months straight. So all of the grass died. And I was walking around like our neighborhood like a fucking internal affairs officer. I would like every lawn was just dead grass, and then some motherfuckers had perfectly green grass, lush flowers and stuff like that, and I was like, you sack of shit. Don't you know there's water restrictions right now, you piece of garbage? It's turf? I don't think it was turf. I think they were waiting until like 4 a.m. when nobody was paying attention, and then they were going That's none of my business. It could be painted, to be fair. Why? Oh, you are a son of a bitch. That's what you are. You're a real piece of work, you know that? You shouldn't have a lawn, you should just have clover. It supports the natural ecosystem. Listen, motherfucker, okay? You know how people say tipping culture went too far? Too fast? And as a reaction to that, now people are like, I'm never tipping on anything. People don't want to hear it, but that's kind of where I'm at with like the increasing moralization of every process on Earth. Like, you got to take it bit by bit. There's a lot of things wrong with the world, okay? There's a lot of structures in place that keep horrible people in power. We got to dismantle that, okay? Just leave the lawns alone so we can focus on the big problems first. Because as soon as you're like, every time you talk to somebody, you're like, I was mowing my lawn. They're like, mowing your lawn? Oh, you have grass? Actually, did you know grass is bad for the environment? It's all fucking bad, bro. We got to focus on the stuff that's heinous first. And then we can start the work. It's like someone's unhealthy and you're like, well, the secret to running a marathon is this. No, just fucking go for a walk first, okay? Once we master the walking and we normalize that for ourselves, then we can start planting clover and stuff like that. It's not mutually exclusive. Yeah, but your ass isn't doing any of it. And then when I say that, you're like, well, oh, I apologize for the fact that I can't buy a house because of the housing crisis. And I'm like, literally, you're just building a box where you yourself are spinning your way out of all criticism whatsoever and just deflecting it upwards. Like it's out of control. You got to be something I can criticize you for. You're criticizing me for going outside, once every 2 weeks and going. Bzzz. Meanwhile, we got a fucking garden in the back. Bees are flying all over it, going pollinating fucking all over the place. Meanwhile, now we're in a world 35% is the minimum tip on takeout. And grass is canceled. Can we just start with making sure that John Riccitelli is no longer the CEO of Unity tomorrow, and then work backwards from there? I brought him back. It took a minute, but I brought him back. It is crazy. I never expected I would become this guy. But and I recognize I'm on a website that has been purchased by Amazon. But listen, as soon as your company becomes acquired, it's cooked. I'm calling it right here. It might take a little longer for it to be cooked if it doesn't go public. But if you get acquired by a public company, your company is fucking, it's just a matter of time. If it gets acquired by a private company and they're only there's less awareness of the liquidity there because you're not seeing the valuation change every single day, maybe. But I think that there's a cycle, man. It's like founders are like, we want to do something like good for the world. And then they build it, and then the valuation goes fucking nutty, and there's no awareness. Wait, let me rephrase. There's no expectation that it will become profitable while those people are still at the company, but it doesn't matter because and then the founders have an incentive to sell at insane valuations. They get that's the end state for a computer science degree from a good American university, is selling your company for, you get a payout in the hundreds of millions of dollars. You fuck off and start snorting ayahuasca and, dealing with the damage you've done to the world, unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, which in a way is kind of respectable that this guy is just riding it out. I'm not saying you got to hand it to him, but I'm like, this guy could have, at any point, he could have been like, I'm done with Facebook, but he's a true believer, which is madness. But anyway, listen, where am I going with this one? Either way, then a new CEO comes in who used to be the fucking CEO of Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. He knows nothing about the business whatsoever. And they're like, I know people normally don't like when the big bad private equity comes in and starts going, but we're going to stay true to the values that made this company great to begin with. And then 2 years later, they're like, we're charging for oxygen. Every time you take a breath, what, you don't think it's worth paying for oxygen? Come on, man, you need it to live. Which is why I will never sell Twitch.tv/Northern Lion to a multinational public Fortune 500 company. I will only sell to private equity who offers me well in excess of what it's actually worth, so I never have to worry about working again. My streamer. Please, a leech. A turtle! Gene! That's pretty good. Yeah, I can live with this. You gotta go, brother. You've done your time. When are you starting your Mark Wahlberg daily routine? It is crazy. Like, I believe that Mark Wahlberg is busy. Now, that doesn't mean that I believe that what he is doing is work. And there's a, well, that's interesting. Never mind. We're still hip. We're still with it. There is a difference between the two. The dude legit woke up at 2:30 a.m. 15 minutes of prayer. People are roasting him for, hang on, for stuff that is not fair. People are like, oh, he wakes up at 2:30, but he doesn't do anything till 2:45. What's up with that? That seems pretty inefficient. Brother, you want him to take a shit on there? Like, that's not sensible. What you should be roasting him for is that there's gaps in the schedule, and the gaps, in my personal opinion, I have to imagine that that's where a lot of that, because I think everybody has some degree of downtime. I have to imagine those gaps are where the downtime is, but meanwhile he's trying to say, like, check it out, there's no days off. I only have 30 minutes to play golf every morning and 2 hours to spend in the cryo chamber. What do I mean by that? Hang on, I'm dealing with my own mortality here. That's painful. At one point on his daily schedule, he has a snack that lasts for like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that. That's just not sensible. There's something going on in that snack period that he's not talking about. I bet he's looking at his phone. It's made up. I'm not saying everybody is lying about how much they're working. I do believe that he's a busy person, whether that work has merit or not. I'm simply saying, I don't know, there's just something, I think we have to start talking about the existence of, like, hustle psychosis. Like, people who get really into, like, rise and grind type culture that are like, you have to grind your ass like every single day and like, here's how to do it. It fucks up your brain. I honestly think it does. Like, it's crazy to me that like once a day on Twitter, I get like an algorithmically served tweet that is like, it's crazy that people think you can just post videos on YouTube. I hired a YouTube consultant to help me make my videos even tighter, and like, look at what my metrics have done for the last month. And I'm like, the replies are full of people that are like, so true, so happy for you, bro. And I'm like, can you imagine, just apply this to like any other, what I would describe as an artistic medium. You imagine if like David Lynch was like, fucking check it out, or David Cronenberg was like, I used a new cinematographer on Crimes of the Future and look at the box office receipts that we got. My analytics are so much better on Crimes of the Future than they were on my last 3 movies. And everyone was like, so true, David Cronenberg. David Cronenberg, we love seeing your weeklies from the box office. That's personal growth. No, you just be fucking like, dude, you made a sick movie where Viggo Mortensen has like a liver that produces plastic or something like that, and it freaked people the fuck out, and that's cool. Like, it's, I don't know. I get why, like, because if you're like a YouTuber, it makes sense to me that you want to talk about your business. Because it's you, and people like to talk about themselves. But to broadcast, like, every day, like, it wasn't like I made my videos better, I'm following my passions, I'm making, like, more art with more merit or videos that are more interesting. It was just like, check out, like, my analytics. I'm like, why would your audience care? But I guess maybe there's different strokes for different folks. Maybe the videos have gotten better, but maybe, like, I mean, you got to play the game a little bit when you're in the business, for sure. But whenever people are like, check it out, I changed the thumbnail on my shitty video and it did 15% better. And people are like, this is inspiring. I'm like, it's not inspiring. They didn't do anything. It's like when Lay's changes the design on the potato chip bag. And you're like, well, it's still barbecue on the inside. It's still tasty, don't get me wrong. But like, you know, what are we doing here? this is it's a weird team. Anyway, it's not like my videos are art, but I think at least over time I've gotten less self-important about it. I'm way less self-important about it. I used to run a podcast with Dan about like best practices on Twitch and YouTube. It's the most self-important thing you can do. Nowadays, I don't even show up on time. Like, this is personal growth. If you can't accept that, that's on you. It feels so good when you realize you still got it. Oh, man. Whew. Okay, hang on. This is the first time we've had like a decent through line for now. Give me this. Or sell back. I'm going crazy mode. I can't go 4 squatted. That's a pain. Because if I go 4 squatted, the pug probably won't go before the lynx. So we just got to simmer on this one. Sad but true. Sad but true. Roll. Very nice. Worth the roll. Not worth the roll. Worth the roll. Oh! Blunt rotation with the 2 Mexican aliens. Please stop calling them that. They're from outer space. They're not from Mexico. We already went over this early in the stream. And yeah, I would do a blunt rotation with the 2 Mexican aliens. Absolutely. They don't reside in Mexico either. Their bodies are interred in Mexico, okay? These are... Show some respect. They're our first visitors, which prove without a shadow of a doubt the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life in our universe. We are not alone. There's also some desiccated fucking E.T. looking motherfuckers who are like 2.5 feet tall, 8 pounds. Oh, man. They would not last through an Illinois winter, right? Am I right, fellow people from Illinois? They would not make it. Okay, but nice jellyfish, nice jellyfish. Try that in a small town. So true. Try landing your fucking stupid spaceship in a small town, idiot. Oh, man. Roof, roof. I sold that duck instantly. What was I thinking? I gotta sell the fish too. And the monkey is a good get. Still gotta sell the fish. You know, some form of scaling could be quite delightful. Oh! Oh! Yeah, keep that. That's still good, man. That's still good. If I found those aliens, I'm beating them to death. It's so fucked up that I definitely wouldn't. I would for sure be the guy that was like screaming, like, stop it, stop it. I'd be like crying. It would be so embarrassing for me. I don't even want to talk about it. At some point, we're gonna need a skunk. Are we okay? Like, we got good scaling. Other teams should be stronger than us right now, but we might have a lower y-intercept, but a higher slope. Best flavor of haichu? I think I'm a peach guy. I was thinking about when I taught in South Korea. It's so funny. I was thinking like, You know, think of the word rough. R-O-U-G-H. Rough. Think of the word bot. B-O-U-G-T-H. That's not, it looks like it should be buffed, but it's bot. Okay. And I was thinking about how, like, my students would say, like, teacher, how are we supposed to remember this? And it was like a Giga Chad meme. It would be like, oh, there's a lot of complicated rules. I before E, except after C, and except sometimes, and also these are the Mrs. Vandertramp words. Me as a teacher, Giga Chad moded. You just have to remember it. Holy. Okay. Dragonfly kind of sucks. It's already been known. Tier 6 me? That's helpful. I do appreciate that. We need some stability. Honestly, I know it's going to overwrite the garlic. I missed the part where that's my problem. I'll save one of you. We got to make a move. What does Peanut Jar do? It renders your lunches inadmissible to grade school. Really? I'm dying to a clone. Does linguistic dominance ever make you feel morally superior to those surrounding you? Perhaps the feeling of a stronger mental? I'm going to answer your question with a piece of advice. Stop reading Substack. You've gone too far down the rabbit hole. You don't believe anything can see the future except crypto-driven prediction markets. You use a dry deodorant that doesn't come in a roll-on stick. It comes in like a tub, and you got to put like a little. It's made of silver iodide crystals, the same thing that the Chinese government uses to make it rain before big parades, so that it's not going to rain during the parade. We've gone too far. I see it a lot, and I'm sad to say it's people trying to like lint their lives completely. You know what I mean? I couldn't think of a better way to express it. People min-maxing the way they put the bread. Do you put the bread down first before you get the sandwich going, or do you run the meat first? Well, I run the meat first because there was one study that came out of the University of Copenhagen that is like, if meat touches cheese first, it releases a phytotoxin. We're all gonna be here for a long time. I think we got to come up with we gotta honestly be kinder to ourselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, my personnel opinion. This is like a setup here. We just have no life with which to enact it. I got to think about this for a second. 3 random enemies equal to the sum of all. I really don't want to buy an apple. But here I go. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, I think there's a time in your life for the pursuit of relentless self-improvement. You know, what's the best way to do this? What's the best way to do that? Oh, I read an article on Men's Health that said the best time statistically to jerk off to raise your testosterone levels as much as possible is like right before lunch. So I always tell my boss that I've got food poisoning so I can go to the bathroom before we have to go out and meet clients and stuff like that. You just... Hopefully you're going to be alive for like 80 years. You can't keep that pace up forever. That's like saying, what's the best way to run a marathon? Just run as fast as you can for like 4 hours. Like it's like the way that a child thinks that you would do that, you know? It's like me saying, like, I would just never pit in Formula One. You know, it's not in the world of realism. Come on, man. Come on. You could bail me out of this one. What was this all in relation to? I don't remember. Ah, shit. I can't believe this is where we're going. Do you feel superior by being linguistically good? Well, here's the thing. I took issue, and by issue, I mean I was just having a laugh at the end of the day. Oh! Please tell me someone got eliminated. We're so back! I simply took issue with the way that it was phrased. It was phrased very substacular, okay? Like, I've never heard the expression linguistic dominance, but I bet it comes from a newsletter you got to pay like $5 a month to get access to. I may be wrong. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy trying to make people laugh. Get on it then. Oh, good thing I wore my brown pants. Oh, man. We're so unbelievably back. We came second. We're probably not going to come first. I'm not trying to sandbag. First is looking pretty unlikely, but to have made it this far. You know, honestly, like what is helping this team out a lot is I think just the fact that it's counter-positioned. Come on, brother. Like I'm looking, you got coconut armors, you got lads. You don't need to stream snipe me here. We can just queue a couple times and see how it goes, right? Not hitting the coconut armor, kind of devastating. You got me, Buffalo 50. You got me. I think being positioned as a sniper team in a world where it's not really sniper driven is like that might have helped us out there. That was a good one. All right, we are going to pivot to some Heretics Fork.